Well, hey, folks, welcome on in to the Pegasus Actual Podcast. We started a little bit later than usual tonight, and Script Doctor will be on the way a little bit later, as well as Steven, who should be here in a few minutes. I myself was just on Chris Knight's stream for the weekly Rumble, so shout out to my buddy Chris Knight and his channel. So make sure that you check him out. That was fun. I didn't get a chance to finish, even though I was in the lead with points. I was really kicking ass tonight. But anyhow, to me, nothing trumps talking about Battlestar Galactica, and that's just the way it is. And of course, I'm excited tonight to have Elaine back with us as always, and Culture Casino, who's freshly back from vacation, and also to have the wonderful and beautiful and very knowledgeable Jane Theory back on, and she will going forward be a part of the panel. So I'm really excited about that as well. So yeah, we've got an all-star team, up and down the lineup tonight, and I'm definitely, man, I'm all pumped about that. So I want to kind of sort of preface it by saying, tonight's episode very Laura Roslyn centric. We'll definitely be seeing a lot of Laura and kind of learning a lot about Laura tonight. And my initial thoughts, like for this episode, was one of those that I was kind of, I was so on. But if you ask anybody that is a Laura Roslyn fan, this is absolutely positively one of their favorites. So I can't do too much hating on it. But because I really don't hate it. It's just to me, this episode was a little less action oriented and more character development oriented by far. So, alrighty. So, anybody have anything to say? Opening remarks? Want to introduce yourself, or just say hi, chat? Go ahead.
Hey guys, hope everyone is doing well tonight. So excited to be here today, and I'm ready to discuss this episode with y'all.
Hey everyone, I'm Elaine at Nerd Cookies. This definitely was a very different episode from the last two that we were discussing. So we're kind of shifting gears. So it's very interesting and intriguing going forward. So yeah, I'm excited to discuss it.
Yeah, and I'm equally excited. This is one of those episodes where you Drew is 100% right. You get some insight into Laura Roslyn, and kind of her approach to not just diplomacy is probably the right term, and it is very Laura centric, but at the same time, you get some additional insight into some other characters and the damage that how they're dealing with the damage that they sustain. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there was this one scene in the episode, and I'm trying to think back to it. I think where she's like by the fountain. I'm trying to remember, and it was this one or another really Roslyn-centric episode that made me want to play in a fountain.
Yeah, she was playing with her feet in the water.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, I want to go play in the fountain. but no, it's this is a case where I think, you really get a sense of where the president's head is at when she's dealing with people, and kind of like what made her tick, especially before the cancer diagnosis. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the discussion here. And Oh, I'm just kind of. Anybody want to start off with the opening scene?
Well, it started with Rosalind, right, in the flashback, I believe.
Yeah.
And she gets bad news. And I usually don't like flashback sequences to begin with, and we have that kind of throughout. But I usually don't like it if it doesn't serve a purpose. And this served a very specific purpose in getting to know Rosalind and the time before on Caprica City. So it was very interesting to know that part of her, who she was before all this happened. And right when we see her diagnosis, we see that tragic circumstances already before this even happened on Earth and this whole thing even started. She was dealing with some pretty bad news.
Yeah, and that doctor didn't exactly have a lot of bedside manner delivering that diagnosis. And and of course, it's a delusional looking back, because she's like literally laid up in bed, having these kind of prescient visions or flashbacks or things like that. So,
and that's what I was going to say too. I think you have to sort of put what she's remembering in context, because it may not have necessarily happened that way, but that's how it was perceived by her. And the actress, Mary McDonald, I believe her name is, did a fantastic job. I loved her in this. Well, she's one of my favorite characters anyway. So,
well, she's always top notch, Jane.
Right? But this episode really, I think it made her shine. For me, she played that character and what she was going through, what she was experiencing, every emotion. You could just read it on her face. And that was her entire performance was just very powerful in this episode.
Definitely. She's amazing. She's such a range of acting. We especially going back and forth from the time before, how she's so healthy and vital, and then where she's on her deathbed. It's just an amazing range. She continues to blow me away. Amazing actress.
Well, the other thing is that, one thing that I noticed is, that doctor definitely is not Coddle. he is not as good as Coddle.
No. I love Coddle.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a gruffer Bones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't help but like him.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, you kind of see that she is very good at being diplomatic. And did you notice in that in the flashback, guys, really important thing, like near the end of the flashback sequence, like the first cutaway where she sees like from her perspective, Baltar and the number Caprica 6 meeting on the steps.
Yep.
So intriguing. And the way it was shot too was amazing camera work. And you're not sure if it is a dream or if it's real or.
Yeah, because it's shot with such a soft focus. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Those elements, I don't think the finer points of cinematography was lost on the crew for BSG. There are a lot of other shows where they don't get the cinematic elements right, but this is an excellent example of exactly getting that kind of shot right. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing is too is that it's like something you alluded to, Elaine. They don't waste in any of the episodes really that I've seen flashbacks. They don't really do wasteful sequences of anything. Like any flashbacks are always very specific to something, and I appreciated that about this show as a whole.
Is Steven here?
I think he is.
Oops.
Is he backstage?
Yeah, he is. There he is.
Drew doesn't pay attention to the StreamYard. Is this the Pegasus actual podcast?
Yes, it is.
It is, sir.
I don't recognize half the people on this show. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, look,
We were waiting for you.
I'm
look,
sorry.
it's great to see you.
I was in the
Toxic
bathroom
Bamboo and
singing.
Parrot Head.
I was in the bathroom singing Rocky Horror because Drew was on the Real Review 3000, and they were talking about Rocky Horror, and I can't get it out of my head now. So thank you.
Well,
I'm sorry.
yeah, but the toxic man flu poisoned me with a Kenny Rogers song. I've got that. We've got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? We've got tonight, babe. Why don't you stay? I got that stuck in my head.
Oh, you're a
Can't
good
go there.
singer.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Is there boobs in that song?
Yeah, Sheena Easton. Sheena Easton is
okay.
is in
All
there.
right, I can get down with that because there's boobs in Rocky Horror. Thank you.
I've had Ya Ding Dong stuck in my head for
Oh
days.
no.
From Eurovision.
No.
It sounds like
It's so catchy.
a difficult position.
Wow.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible.
Drew, I'm sorry. I stepped in and
No, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
good.
Derailed. Whoosh.
Derailed everything.
Tangent.
So yeah, as we get past the flashback, we go and we get into the sort of we get into like a really like harrowing situation as we come back after the opening credits of the show, where we've got Kat and Starbuck, and I think they're like on a patrol or flying cap, or is it just, or did that strike you just sort of as a training exercise?
that was a training exercise. I mean, they do that periodically. They do that. They also needed that to carry on the story. But man, that explosion was scary. The first time I saw it, because you don't know if they're getting shot at or if that's a malfunction or what it is.
Yeah. And when it's one of the guns, that's a concern for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they had to weapons malfunction, and Cat Starbuck had to make an emergency landing. And
you know what I did like though, Drew? I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
What did like? That was how I love Cat. She does not take shit. That's like little Starbuck.
Wasn't it a request to clear her throat, which meant to clear her guns?
Well, no, she said. Well, they were bantering. They bantered like just a tiny bit, and she got snappy with Kara, and like it was Kara just took it. Like shit. I love Kara Thrace.
But that's the only time she's going to take it.
Well, no, it's just that. Well, I think first off, I don't think it's like a woman empowerment thing. It's kind of like maybe like a female camaraderie thing. But she'd rather have somebody strong who doesn't take shit next to her. Is willing to pull the trigger and pull the hard six if they need to. I think she respects Kat, even though we've seen them fight. We see them bumping heads all the time with each other throughout the show.
Oh yeah.
But I think that she respects her. Like that's another warrior, like on that level. So I enjoy those interactions between those two. I like strong characters, and I particularly enjoy strong female characters.
Yeah, and I think part of it of her attitude is probably from Starbuck. Like she's kind of taken her lead of not, including how she acts towards Starbuck. She's
right.
So she's kind of her little Padawan.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I was going to describe it. Exactly. Which is a great relationship to watch play out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Definitely.
I wanted to break that down, Drew.
Well, yeah, it's gonna get pretty contentious in the future, and we're as we say on this show, don't jump ahead. But in this case, yeah, we'll give you guys a little nugget. It will get contentious at points later on, so that's something to look forward to, because believe me, there are some sparks that fly between those two women.
Can I just say that I am so happy since the very first retro review of the Pegasus actual podcast, because damn near every time, no matter how this panel changes, there's always people that I really enjoy streaming with. I really like everybody that does this show, man. That says something about the Battlestar Galactica fandom, I think, in general. just how many good people there are that enjoy this great content, this wonderful expression of what science fiction can be. The presentation, the writing, the actors, the fandom. I mean, I know the fandom had their problems back then, but look at how it survived like all this time, and people are still talking about it. So I just want to say, hail to the chat and hail to the panel.
That's something that interesting that you bring up, Stephen, because I was thinking about that too. I think back all the way, my God, 16 years ago now, while I'm watching this show and having those the original website and everything, and thinking how far came from Pegasus Actual, the site, to now Pegasus Actual, the podcast, and we've still got a lot of people that pay attention and really enjoy this, and it's just surreal that it's still like the staying power not only of the show but the fandom is amazing. Well, and there's a lot of people that we've turned on to the show ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it also says something because the divide that happened from the original I'm sorry, I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm just saying the divide that happened in the legacy fandom, the first show, which is a great show. Please go check out the original Battlestar. And that, everything that happened and the production difficulties and, the fan movements and even the actors that got involved in trying to get a new iteration of the original back on screen. And then that didn't happen. And then we got this. And the difference that I see between the parallels in the splits in fandoms between things like Battlestar or things like Star Trek or Star Wars is that, I mean, to my mind, the people that, at least most of the people that created the new iteration of Battlestar Galactica were really trying to present something well crafted, well done, well executed, and we see that week after week. Arguments can be made, of course, from the legacy fandom to the new, the new fandom. We heard those arguments 15 years ago, but I mean that's a big difference in the look at the actors from that show that still today interact with their fandoms because of this show. It's just got a great feeling all around it. I love Battlestar Galactica, and hail all my fellow Battlestar Galactica fans.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we've got people like Katie, who's coming on, expanding into having a successful YouTube channel. You got Trisha Helfer, who's really active on Twitter, and she's done some amazing things. She's been in a lot of good shows now, and
Grace Park.
Oh.
This episode, Grace Park and Mary McDonald show their skills.
It's
so good.
But mainly, yes, Stephen. We were alluding to the fact, we're getting into the way that it began with the flashback and everything, and the fact that it's a very Roslyns centric episode. Oh.
And I would say, Athena. Who's going to become Athena? She's very central, and I mean. Again, this show gets me on. Maybe it's because I allow it, but there are many. I get attached to these characters, and some of the scenarios and scenes that come up give me a very strong emotional reaction because of how much I love the show. And I'm sure that's true with any fandom. That's probably true with Raylos. I don't even like Raylos, but I'm sure that's true with them too. And so I'm just trying to be fair here, but. We'll talk about the scenes as they come up, and then I'll expand upon them because some of them are just so well acted, and the situations are so uncomfortable. Some of these situations that the writers present are uncomfortable, and everything works. Everything does its job, creates that connection, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
I showed up and derailed everything, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. You're getting up to speed. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, after they make their crash landing, the chief spots a fatal flaw after they land the birds, which is the ammunition is not right. The weight's off in it, and it basically breaks apart in his hand.
And who brought that up? Callie brought that to Chief because Starbuck was ready to rip his head off and shit down his neck.
Oh yeah,
she was like, "This is truly due to a lack of the deck crew doing their job." You see that? I've heard this multiple times from like vets who've given commentary on this show, is that how the different different areas kind of have their own identity, and so they have a lot of conflict between different people, and pride in what they do. And so here you come, here comes the pilot, here comes the captain, giving the deck crew shit. The deck crew,
typical fighter pilot,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Chief wasn't gonna have, Callie wasn't gonna have it because she's deck crew. But that's pretty scary to think. I mean, that somebody's sabotaging someone in your fleet. You're the last of humanity, and somebody's sabotaging your weapons. What's going to save your life? That is a scary proposition.
And that's why Adama was not taking anything from anybody. He was ready to choke a bitch over it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He had a serious Elmo's eye, didn't he?
So we cut to the president, and she's in bad shape. Obviously, she's in the infirmary, and she's got maybe a couple hours till she passes away. And the Adama's in there. He's going to see her, and so's Billy. And now we go back to Laura having a lot of sort of flashbacks in a row.
Yeah.
And we could see that, during when she was Secretary of Education, they had a confrontation with a group of disgruntled people that
Teachers.
The president looked at as terrorists, and they were really just disgruntled teachers.
That's right.
And so, she's God, don't get me started, because I will start. You know how I feel about that thing. But yeah, the thing is we kind of just see her going back and forth with President Adar about how to deal with the situation.
And did y'all see who was playing Adar? It was the same cat from Riddick 2.
Yes.
Oh, it sure was.
Yeah, I was every time when I first saw that, I was like, yes, just when I realized who that actor was, because I love that character. I can't think of his name. The Lord Marshal. What was he called? Damn it. Whatever.
Remember.
I'm sorry, I can't remember. Anybody out there, if you're in the chat, if you can remember, please jog my memory. I am not smoking marijuana. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay.
Well, I was just like processing that, man. You're great at derailing shit, Steven.
What I do? I'm sorry.
But yeah, you got me thinking of Riddick now. Thinking of like Lord Marshall.
He was awesome. That was an awesome.
Yeah,
character.
he was. Yeah.
Vin Diesel will rip your head off and shit down your neck in that movie. I love that movie.
Well, I love that whole franchise, too. But the thing with this was they kind of go back to where Coddle reveals that the Cylon baby has some interesting traits, like as in it may be potentially able to save the president. And
that's later on. That's later on. They
said anomalies.
Yeah, he said anomalies.
He said it was weird.
He said it was damn odd. It was damn odd.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Adama looks over at Baltar and said, "No, this wasn't in your report, Doctor." And Baltar just starts stammering as per usual.
Don't mess with Doc. Don't mess with Doc. He don't care if you're the smartest dude on the ship. He'll tell you like it is. And that cigarette.
But Baltar. But as soon as Baltar gets called on, he's just sitting there stammering.
Yes, because Baltar. Well, Baltar's script doctor's favorite person.
He is. No.
Is that like him in the show?
Loves Guy at Baltar. Oh my!
No, he doesn't.
I can tell you're being sarcastic. You do sound like.
Oh, he's being sarcastic. Believe me.
No, he's just like
because.
Here he is.
Look who's here!
He can defend himself.
Hey,
how's it going, everybody?
Hey,
script doctor. Is Gavins your favorite?
We're talking about who? What?
Is Gaius your favorite?
Doc Coddle.
Dr. Baltar.
Gaius is pathetic.
He's written very well. He's very.
He's written very well, but he is pathetic.
Oh wait, you need.
Yeah.
Welcome, Kronos, and welcome to Sentinel. I see you guys in the chat. Thanks for coming by. And Cold Blooded Critic, it was great to see you, man.
Hail chat. You
So-
guys are awesome. You need to move Script Doctor over.
At Script Doctor's legs.
Oh, gee.
That's from that Star Trek show. That's big. That's a big meaning.
Oh,
Authors-
geez.
I'm trying to tell y'all for months since Script Doctor first came on the scene, he's not wearing any pants.
Author Stephen Walton Valdez is really mean, and he's throwing coffee all over the place. I guess throwing's the wrong term.
He's trying to get this new thing going where I don't wear pants. I think he just wishes I wasn't wearing any pants, but I am very much wearing pants.
Well, Script, all right, okay. Admittedly, the first time I picked on you, it was you were the whitest guy on YouTube. Then it became
That's true.
the whitest avatar on YouTube. But I'm telling
Also
you,
true.
Dr. Avatar is not wearing any pants has been a thing for quite a couple months.
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 Doesn't feel that long.
It's been a long time, man. Where'd the coof?
You need to get a better representation.
I know I need to make the bot, dude. I'm going to make that black box.
I'm sorry,
I
but
wasn't
I'm going to
referring to
honor.
that. I was just thinking like the legs are way too skinny. I've got Batman legs.
Oh, now, ooh, can you explain more? The girls are a little dreamy.
Oh,
Actually,
you know what?
the weirdest thing is that one issue of Batman Black where they did the adult stuff. It's like I did not realize how similar I was to Bruce Wayne until they did that issue where he's naked in the Batcave. I'm like, damn, that's creepy.
That is creepy. That's I don't know. You know,
Well, I have to honor Canada because somebody has to be nice to Script, and it's going to be me. There.
yeah.
Oh,
Where
okay.
these people-
Hail Canada.
Hail Canada.
Yeah.
That was
For
my
some reason,
Canada
I
Day
thought it was
picture.
Paris Hilton for a second, but no, that's not.
I promise that I'm going to make the black box here much longer.
Oh boy.
Maybe give
Oh,
it a
no.
little more
Oh,
girth.
Lord.
I promise.
Oh, girth.
Yeah.
Girth.
Dude,
Girth counts.
just animate some thighs and kneecaps.
I know how much you hate what's Lower Decks. I know how much you're going to hate this show. And I just feel that it's a perfect representation of your lower half.
Oh. Wow. Okay, so can we get back to the episode, Stephen?
Oh, my
Yes,
So Roslyn
where
is
are
dying.
we in the episode right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Roslyn's
There's
dying.
serious things happening. Yeah.
Hey,
Baltar's flipping his lid.
yeah. Hey, Tobian. It's good to see you too, buddy. Great to have you in the chat. And all right, so we're having an awkward conversation with oh boy, both senses of the word. But no, Adama and Baltar are having a conversation about the president's condition and whatnot, and Baltar and Adama are going back and forth about what to do and how the child factors in, and you know,
Oh, this is in the corridor.
yeah, in the corridor, and I like at the end how Adama just kind of shuts him down and says, you know, you're about to be president of the colonies. Act like it. You know, it's like
right.
That's
a great line.
Man up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing to note about this scene is the motivation that Gaius has. He is fascinated by this child, and he also has the personal thing with what Angel 6 is telling him, that like this is his baby, it has to live. So that this is his panic mode. We're seeing pure motivation from Gaius, who's kind of not even thinking about his own position of power. He's just concerned about another life. He's actually behaving rather selflessly.
Yeah, which is
that's a favorite. Sorry.
That's an unfamiliar position for this character is to not act in his own self-interest, because every single representation of him for the most part is only thinking of himself.
Right.
Exactly.
At every point in time.
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry.
No, you guys are both. Yeah, no, I was just saying, and I was just saying what Script Doctor said, just longer winded, but it's it's also unique in that I think almost in a certain sense he's afraid of the power that if Rosalind passes away. I think that is also conveyed. Maybe maybe that is a little later, but I believe in this scene it's conveyed.
Well, maybe not the word power, but definitely responsibility.
Yes, that's the right word.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, I think that's come from the lessons that I'm sorry, Jane, real quick. I thought that's come from the lessons that he has learned over the last couple of episodes. Also, being away, he hasn't seen. We find out Angel 6 in weeks. You remove that influence for weeks. He's had a lot of time to be alone and actually think about things that have happened. Sorry, go ahead, Jane.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that's where the self-interest comes into play.
Mhm.
He's not being entirely selfless here. He has his interest in not taking on that much responsibility, and I think he's also fascinated with the science of this child.
Mm.
So it's just a different self-interest.
Okay.
It's a bit more mitigated, yeah, because like he doesn't realize he'll have that responsibility until later, and then we find out that his entire act for doing what he's doing is both selfless and personal. But Drew, go ahead with the next little bit here, and we'll break
Well,
that
no,
down.
I was going to actually tell you, SD, go right ahead and pick it up where Adama is telling Hilo that the president is going to have to terminate Sharon's pregnancy.
Well, it's a pretty dire scene. Hilo doesn't like it. Adama completely understands he doesn't like it. He's not even saying you don't have to even like you don't have to like. He's just saying you have to accept this is the state that the president is ordering right now, and we have to comply. And Adama is trying to hold on to the concept that maybe Sharon isn't all what she says to be. Maybe she's doing what she's doing just to stay alive for her own interest, as opposed to genuinely being a member of this crew, of this fleet, if it were.
Right.
And yeah, Hilo just can't really defend against that at this point. But he at least, accepts the order that he hates and offers to be the one to tell Sharon that we're going to do this. And he brings up a great point. That's a lot easier to write this sort of choice off when you don't look at it as a human being, but as a Cylon only.
Well,
and it's kind of letting Adama show that maybe we haven't come as far in the last few months as we thought we had prior.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting too, because it was such a departure again from Roslyn's behavior and her view of life, but we also saw a departure of that when she gave the order to terminate Admiral Kane, because it was with a view towards saving more lives. And I think even at this point, she thinks she's going to die. She does not know what's going to happen. So it was probably again towards that line of thinking. And maybe if she had her full capacity, but the fact that she probably Gaius is going to be in charge, who knows what's going to happen. So just desperation for sure, and kind of all those decisions coming together to this moment.
Well, only for a few more weeks, because if I'm not mistaken, it was 169 days in the past when all this sort of happened. So her presidency was supposed to only be 6 months before the new election cycle. So she's only got a few weeks left before the colonies vote for someone new. And you're absolutely right, Nerd Cookie. She's in that position where if she orders the termination of this child, the fleet will remain as it has been since she's taken office, essentially like functioning as it is with whatever. If that child is born, it could stir up some sort of change that she's not going to be present to address, and we don't know how Baltar or who the next president that's elected is going to react to such an event. So she's just trying to sort of mitigate any new variables to try and keep things stable and on track. And it's you understand her argument, but it's also kind of gut-wrenching as well that she's cold enough to make this decision.
Exactly. Well said.
But I also think if she had possession of her faculties, and I think Elaine or Jane mentioned this, I think that she would have followed more of the lead that Baltar was going down and to try to get some more study, because it seemed like it seemed like he wasn't making an unreasonable request, even though for the audience knows that there are some selfish motivations there. But from a scientific standpoint, it would be wrong to terminate something that is a cross species element or something like that. Anyway,
a new life form, a completely alien
exactly.
life form.
Right.
Yeah, a hybrid.
And it's a desired life form too. Like it's desired by the two people that created it. It's not like these two people don't want this to happen and they're being forced to have it or not have it. It's like, no, this is something that we made. We want to see it through, and we understand it's going to be new and different. But Roslyn, like I mentioned earlier, she's not in the position to actually do the exploration that she wants to. So, and when you're not in a position to do the exploration, it's like, well, we might as well just keep as much as we can the same for the time being until, you know, a new power structure has proven itself effective for the fleet. Yeah.
Hey, hail to Angelus Draven. I see you in the chats, and you know, I wanted to say really quickly, you know, when you get that moment there, you know, it's obvious. It's one of those moments in the show where you're like, well, holy shit, they don't follow a prime directive. Because you're just like, yep, that's pretty damn hardcore.
I love the insight and discussion on this team, and I've shut up because the entire time all I've been thinking about is, did Script Doctor say he's got legs like Batman? Like
He did.
Batman, bro?
I've got really nice legs, muscular legs.
Yes, yes, buddy. There you go.
Thank you.
He looks pretty ripped in his Star Trek blue as well.
I mean, no, I wouldn't get.
I just don't have abs. That's the only thing I don't have.
And pants.
We all have abs. Just our level of fat that's different.
Just tape some of those little like potatoes under your shirt, Script.
Wow.
Dude, all you need is a Sharpie. Everybody can have abs with a Sharpie.
Exactly.
Depending on how you look at it, I am many more levels up than Script Doctor, so I'm feeling good about my abs right now.
Levels up.
No,
Anyway. It's derailed again, children. Okay. All right. And I think we went
working out before I see abdominals.
I think we went back in time because I think we need to find out from there where we go into the results of the bad ammunition.
Well,
I think that's where we're headed.
Well,
I think they're in the investigation stage, right?
We cut to the CIC, and you know, there's a brief scene in there. You know, nice little interaction, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught it, but there's a nice little back and forth with Ty and Lee, where again they're throwing little barbs at one another while they're in between. You know, because Starbuck's in there with them too, and they're trying to explain to Adama about the ammunition and everything, and then he sends them to go and investigate. Which way they go to the ship where the ammunition shop is to investigate, and they come across a very vocal woman who is definitely a dissident, somebody that is
Andrea Kaz.
Yeah, she's definitely a member of I guess you want to call it a subversive organization, whatever.
Did we skip a couple of scenes? Because wasn't there a moment between Ty and Adama where they're talking about the ammunition?
And what about the script? What about how everybody just treats Ty like with no respect?
Yeah.
Because Apollo was just like, I don't give a damn what you think, sir.
Well, if there was a particular nugget you took out of that conversation, Script Doctor, go ahead, rewind it back for a second.
Well, the one thing that was kind of interesting is the fact that Ty's trying to argue that we're going to be defenseless, but Adama brings up that we are defenseless. We just didn't know it because we have this sabotage, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of shows the fact that Ty is still in that knee-jerk mode. Of looking in one direction, and Adama is kind of almost returned back to what he was before he was shot by Sharon. Yeah. Like he's like, okay, let's take some steps here, and you can kind of see that he's still reasonable, even though he's just been given an order to order one of his lieutenants to agree to a termination of their offspring. Like you can tell that there's a little bit of he's not compromising all of his ideals. He's trying to maintain some sort of balance between what the government is asking of him and what he should be doing to protect the fleet. And I like that. I like that little three-way conversation that kind of gives you a little state of what's going on and what the priority is, and the fact that hey, it's a good thing that they took out those 2 base stars in that revival ship.
The
last
resurrection
episode
ship,
because
yeah.
a resurrection last episode because they would be in a lot more of a precarious decision if they hadn't. And also one thing I haven't gotten clarification of is Starbuck still a captain or is she back down to lieutenant?
No, she's still a captain by rank. They haven't. They
didn't
taken her
usurp
down.
Apollo
Yeah.
is the CAG.
Yeah, yeah. Apollo.
Everything back to where it should be.
Yeah, Apollo's the Galactica CAG, and presumably Starbuck is still a Pegasus CAG. But right now she's like she's in the throes of this investigation. So she.
Oh yeah, because both fleets are compromised with,
Yeah.
or both ships are compromised with their ammunition, right?
Right, exactly. Because they alluded to the fact that pretty much they can't have a combat air patrol up until this gets resolved. So that's a big deal for both vessels.
Yeah, if they don't have ammunition, then what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. They can't throw
This
rocks.
is why you need to invest in lasers. You can't have
Lasers.
bullets with lasers.
Lasers.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way,
Battlestar 78 for the win.
by the way, welcome to Dollified, my aka Don Edmonds, my colleague from Bounding into Comics, and also I saw Mad Mardian pop in for a second, so thank you for popping in and throwing up a like, my friend. Appreciate that. And Don says, he's here just for Grace Park. So,
Oh shit, did he? Well, let me dip into my future ex-wives folder.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's only a folder. I think it'd be a filing cabinet by now.
Yeah.
A whole hard drive. A whole hard drive. Oh, hey, there it is.
It's
Hello.
like Don says that when Toxic Man Flu is the moderator. Yes, Toxic Man Flu has a wrench.
Where's
Oh,
Captain Karen?
Where is Captain Karen?
Or Admiral Karen?
Oh, Admiral Karen. You know what? That's right.
Admiral Karen.
Admiral Karen's gone. Well, she's dead. So
I know she's gone, but
did.
not in spirit.
And also, I don't want to leave out the Sentinel because he's in the chat as well.
Yeah, the sun.
So props to my buddy the Sentinel. He was he's always great. The Sentinel and his deep voice. But oh god, somewhere along the line we had a boxy theory in here, and I forgot to pull it up. There we go. So if anybody wants to read that, go right ahead.
All right, I'm feeling goofy. Boxy theory number 0.01%. While baking cookies in his OG Star Trek tunic in a launch tube, Boxy's famous nerd cookies, he remembers he is late for his enema appointment. Cookies and brew.
Cookies and brew.
Nice.
Thank you for
Toxic, you're hilarious.
We're never going to escape this because I have to.
No.
I have to do, now we have the women primarily responsible for it.
Well, they have been. They have been. Thank you for attaching nerd cookies to that in some way.
So you
appreciate
you are never going to be safe, Steven.
Oh, I don't care if I'm safe. I'm pulling everybody down with me. I'm a crap. You're all coming down.
Cookies and brew. So I'm in there.
So back
Cookies and cream.
So back on track. Starbuck and Apollo go to where the particular area where they're the ship where they're making the ammunition, and they approach a rather eccentric woman that is at the station where they make the shells for the fighters, and she starts obviously as soon as they come towards her, she's like, oh, they may take me, but know that the Cylons are not our only enemy. It's the military and da-da-da, what have you. She's going off at the mouth, and obviously she's hauled away and arrested by the Marines. And then Starbuck and Apollo just kind of have that look like, what the F? And then, of course, we cut to where Adama and Ty are looking over the sort of subversive and anti-government pamphlets.
Demand peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are we talking about that soy boy that walked in the office? That big, round, soft, doughy. He has never taken a positive step in his life. He has stepped up to any bully, taking an aggressive stance to nothing, but he's going to be there to make peace with the Cylons.
The simp to Gina. Gina's
wow.
simp.
Yes. Oh, my God. Oh, beta cuck. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's where I was at with that. Is that where we're at? At that point? Did he just walk in? The guy you do not respect? you don't respect him so much you could be sitting at a lunch table and you just throw a bologna sandwich at him like, yeah, please leave.
Oh, why would you waste a good bologna sandwich at that?
What a bad bologna, man. Slimy, like it's been in the fridge too long. Script, not the good stuff, not the stuff you want to fry with some onions.
Ew.
Fried with onion?
I've never heard of that.
Ooh, ever had a hot bologna sandwich? I am from the ghetto.
Wait,
I made like bologna grilled cheese sandwiches.
You never had a fried bologna sandwich, dude?
With onion?
Yeah, you cut up a little.
Well, not with onions. Hell
Wait,
no.
what?
Well, of course you put onions. I'm from Philly. Maybe it's a Philly thing. You put onions in everything.
Y'all put onions.
Yeah,
in
what the
everything.
hell, man?
Well, I love onions. I've just never. Well, I
Yeah.
mean certain things, but I've never.
In the ghetto.
No bologna.
In the ghetto.
That's where I be. That's where I be.
All right.
We got creative.
Is that what they're eating on Galactica for rations? Bologna and onions. Bologna and onions day.
It's not that Matrix goop that those guys had to eat. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
And
nice.
vitamin
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah,
Shredded
I'd rather
wheat.
have bologna then.
Tasty wheat.
Tasty wheat.
The chicken really tastes.
My bologna has a first name. It's Oscar. My bologna has a second name. It's Mayer.
Wow,
I
that's
love to eat it every day. And if you ask me while I'll say, because Oscar Mayer has a way with BOLOGNA.
Yay!
Nice.
My bologna has a first name. It's PENIS.
All right.
And if it has a second name, you better get undressed.
Oh!
I'm not singing
go.
that. I'm not
right.
singing that.
All right.
Alrighty then.
So, anybody want to
Wasn't
take
me.
it from here? The flashback that the president's having about where she's having the conversation with the gentleman talking about the teachers.
Oh, the head of the teachers union, or with the scene with Colm Fior?
The one where she's like she's convulsing in the bed and having the flashback, and then she's talking with the guy that looks like Toby Keith. Can't think of his name.
Oh yeah, that's really just it's just showing the fact that she's always been kind of a little conniving.
You know,
Yeah.
and then also again we see her look over and she sees Six and Baltar walking in frame, like just in frame for a second, and then she's going through like a bunch of different memories, and of course she wakes up and Coddle's checking on her. Then we cut to Ty and the Admiral in their quarters, and they've got one of the guys from the subversive movement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
And-
Soy Boy. My bad.
That's funny because the guy says, "Is this how you welcome all visitors to your ship?" And Ty makes a great response, and he said, "Visitors, my ass. You know, we shoot people like you." You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, damn right.
Which is a great response. But if anybody wants to take it from there, go right ahead.
I mean, Ty has very few moments where he shines, and that was one of them. You know, I'm glad. I mean, one thing that I've always liked about Adama is that he does eventually, if not at first, try and understand all the sides of something. It usually comes to the right decision, but He's not having it. He's not having it with Soy Boy. Soy Boy walked in. These are military men. In comes in this guy who sits on his couch and eats Ben and Jerry's and plays Mario. What? Who are you, boy? You don't do shit with your life. And so, I mean, just the sight of him and what he represents. I'm sorry. Look,
Sits when he pees.
It's like they should have just shot him on sight.
Right?
Send in your next representative. This is gonna work.
I can't. Somebody.
So I had to step away. Are we talking about the interrogation of the peace guy?
The
Yeah.
first interview kind of thing, yeah.
And Ty's face. Did you talk
Yeah.
about Ty's?
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that. I had to rewind just to look at it and appreciate. He's great.
He's such an angry cuck. He is. You know, it's like.
Well, he smiled, and when he was getting rough with him, he had a smirk on his face. It's like, yeah.
No, they made the right move. Here, who are you? You're too dangerous to be left walking around, and especially while you're still performing an investigation or preliminary investigation on everything that's going on. So throwing him in the brig is a good idea. At least you know that you have contact with him there. Through this,
he's a terrorist, so
yes.
It was interesting that it kind of the flashbacks with Rosalind are kind of intertwined here, and she's dealing with this issue as well, these uprisings, this political issue. So that's kind of reflected in what's going on to definitely different degrees, but I thought that was interesting that those were kind of mirrored, and just the different choices they made, Adama and Rosalind, and how it worked out. And I thought it was an interesting way to cut between those events.
Right. And I definitely think that was intentional too, to show us their different leadership styles, and you also can see the wisdom in both their decisions or both their approaches under these circumstances. So
yeah, because it's different situations for sure, like teachers unions, and as opposed to terrorists kind of violence and all these different. So, but it was interesting how it was done. That you can see the glimmers of the different decisions that they made and how they kind of mirrored each other. So yeah, very, very interesting.
Well, not only that, the flashbacks serve as kind of a warning for the type of tactics that Rosalind has been using, especially with regards to the teachers' strike. Like, according to what we've been told, like, we haven't seen it, so it could be a conjecture, but according to what we've been told, some of the protests that the teachers have been having have caused police officers to be injured and hospitalized.
right.
So, and Adar is the type of guy who's like, well, listen, we have to crush this type of behavior from them down and show them that that's not how they're going to, negotiate. And then Rosalind's trying to sort of usurp him a little bit by saying, no, we got to do this, this, and this. And Adar reminds her, well, it's not about like letting them. If we do those types of things, we then prove that those tactics work, and that's the last thing we need. Because what if they do it again and they go further?
Right.
And then we see that play out. Yeah.
And sadly, that's the last day that Caprica exists. So you don't know how the future is going to hold out. But he's not wrong in regards to that mentality. It's like you give one side an inch, especially one that's unreasonable, they're going to take a mile.
Yep, absolutely. Doesn't remind you of anything right now at all. So beyond that, obviously there is the as we just discussed what played out in the corridors, and they take away the Soy Boy, and then you have Apollo and Starbuck, who then are going through the guy's belongings, and guess what they find? It's a detonator. And so Apollo gets on the horn and said that he needs a tag team, and then boom, we cut to Hilo, and he is at the cell where Sharon is being held, and let you guys kind of go on that beat.
Yeah, that was a really crushing scene where he's breaking the news to her and she loses it. He's the entire time trying to keep her calm because he knows what's going to happen, what the reaction is going to be if she doesn't stop. But you can see the pain in her face and the anger and the frustration and the fear. I mean, Grace did an amazing job here.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a powerful scene. That's motherhood
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Cylon or not, she will do anything to protect her baby.
Yep.
Well, sure.
That's motherhood.
Yep.
That's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
exactly her whole portrayal of everything that her reaction to that, the fierceness, the energy, dude, that was, of course she was protected, in those scenes where she's banging her head up against the glass. But that's that's just showing how pissed off. I thought it was a wonderful scene. She understood that there was no way out, but she was gonna she would have killed somebody. She would have fought to her,
Yeah.
her last
She was
breath.
the nail to fight. Yeah.
Absolutely. Loved that. It was a wonderfully done scene.
So human. So like a mother.
Very much.
Yep. I'm mad.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Love
Grace Park is awesome.
Yes, she is. Yes, I love Grace Park. Look, come on, Grace Park playing one character during the whole first season, right? And at some points two, or more than two, but steadily she was playing two different storylines throughout that whole first season. Two different characters, really. And now she's taken the one and flipped it into the role of the second. Taken the second one, flipped it into the role of the first one, and now dealing with this new dynamic. Dealing with a lot of the prejudice against her at this point is not only because of her race, but because personally what her Cylon sister did to Adama. So she's having to deal with that. And I think that Grace, the writers did a good job with her, and I think Grace did a wonderful job acting all the way up to this point. I thoroughly enjoyed her character. She's sexy too, so that helps. But no, and scenes like this really reaffirm the amount of work that these at the time newer actors, only had a few put into their performance. So bravo again.
Yeah, this led her as an actress right into Hawaii Five-0.
She was 30 when she got the role on Battlestar, so she'd been acting for a good 10, 15 years.
Oh, she had?
Yeah, but
younger than that, to be honest.
No.
But this is the first role that people got to see.
Don't forget though, SD. There is technically two Grace Parks.
What?
Isn't there?
What do you mean? There's two.
There's
Is one of them single?
There was the one. Oh no, never mind. I was thinking of Linda Park that was on Star Trek.
So you're thinking Linda Park was who Wonder Woman was is the same as Grace Park?
At least he doesn't see color.
The chick that was on Enterprise. That was Linda Park, wasn't it?
You know what it is, Script? To an Asian, everybody looks like an Asian. I don't know what it is.
It's so weird, right?
Hey, damn it! All right.
She was on Star Trek Enterprise. Is that what were you saying?
Linda.
No,
Park
she was on.
Linda
Star Park.
Yeah, no. Grace Park went on to be on Hawaii Five-0. She looked really good in that role too. She looks so much younger than she actually is because she's 46, and
she looks the same. Yeah,
she's never changed. So that's a wonderful.
She's not on there anymore, though, right?
No, there was a very valid pay dispute because she was a prominent role. She was a main character, and she wasn't being paid like a main character.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Yeah, they really screwed her. But I'm not surprised. Guess what? Because it's Kurtzman.
No, it's not. It's
he
Lenkov.
does that one. Oh.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Lenkov does that one, and Lenkov is actually being outed right now.
Yep.
I haven't watched Hawaii Five-0, unfortunately. I watched the MacGyver episode where she was in it. It was a crossover, but yeah.
Outed as like a scumbag, or what do you mean?
He's a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Hollywood
it's great to see McKinney, McKinney, and Stephen Ernest in the chat as well. So welcome to them. And if you guys want to go ahead and carry on from there, they're heading now to the Tilium ship to try to hold off disaster.
Yes.
And they're going to do a sweep for explosives on the ship.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. The landing party makes their way over in a Raptor, and they land on the side of the hull. They are going to breach the hull, and all of a sudden,
Well, they get the recording, and then the next, as soon as they hear that recording, they're like, "We're too late," and then they're trying to pull away, and then we get this pretty decent in space explosion, and a couple of bodies are vented into space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that there was no shortage of. It's like when there was like something horrific had to happen to and reinforce kind of like the drama or something. Man, this show didn't skimp, because that's like a violent explosion, and then there's just bodies coming out the side of the ship.
Well, it's two bodies, man. It's not like.
He said people died. He didn't say how many. I was wondering how many there were, but it looked like a few, at least.
Looked like a few. Yeah, this wasn't
was
like in Star Trek Picard where the Borg are being vented into space on the masses. Like, this
Well,
was
yeah,
just
that's true. It was not. It was not that.
Yeah. We only saw it from the outside, too. I mean, there could have been more.
there could have been more inside that didn't get vented out. Like, it was a sizable explosion, and probably could have, it's done some decent damage on that mining ship and could have done far worse.
Yeah.
And I didn't check the numbers, and I meant to do that. I think the population number on the wall, I think we saw it after this.
I don't think we saw that this episode.
Yeah.
Not after Ballpark did his thing. I don't think we saw that number on this episode.
Yeah, we haven't seen it
I thought
yet.
it was different.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in the office yet at this point?
No, we haven't.
They
We
haven't
haven't.
taken on an angle where you see it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to run back through it.
Don't skip ahead.
I'm trying to run it through in my head, and I don't see it. So yeah, I don't think.
But that was really cool. Not cool, but how they did it and shot it. How it was quiet. There was, a little bit of sound or pop from the explosion, but then space is quiet, so it's kind of. But also the seriousness of what happened.
Yeah.
I always get upset when I see explosions in space, because there's no oxygen,
no noise.
So when something like that happens, I'm like,
not on the space side of things. The weird part too, and we know this from Apollo 13 accounts, is that if there is an explosion on the inside, you hear it. And then there's a burst of fire because the oxygen that's leading out is basically being burnt, but it's quick. It's like a big flash. And only if there's like a lot of oxygen do they theorize you'd actually have a big flame. But again, it's only going to last like no more than a couple of seconds. So they did that pretty well, because that flame went out fast. Like it was just
Just like a puncture, some things and bodies.
And any more than that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jane.
No, I was going to say they did a great job of building up the tension too with that recording and the expressions as they were hearing it. It's like, oh shit,
that's true. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, thankfully, nobody on the Raptor is injured, and they survived the crash. And then, or there's not a crash really.
Only Galactica died.
Yeah,
we're good.
So we go
Galactica.
The
Galactica
could have been. Yeah, maybe Boxy was hanging out there in the Tilium mine and then died in the explosion. That's one of his corpses is floating out there as Boxy's. Could be.
So a couple people got injured when the statue fell on their head. So there you go.
Boxy, the 13th Cylon.
The
13th. But no, we cut back to the Galactica, and we've got a confrontation where Adama said, people have died, and he's telling the guy that's in the brig, look, this shit's gonna stop, or we're gonna stop it. And the guy makes the mistake, of course, of trying to get loud with Adama.
Yeah.
And then Adama just grabs him by the throat, and he's
One hand.
"It's gonna stop. Are we clear?" The guy,
Oh, did I skip ahead? This is when Ty had the smirk on his face.
yeah, it's
Wasn't it?
And Ty's just sitting there with the smirk on his face, and that's great. Like Elaine said, I mean, that's priceless.
That's what we were all thinking.
And so then we actually see a sighting, truth be told, of the number on the wall. So
What is the number at?
I always skip ahead. I'm sorry.
so it's over Colonial 1, 49,598.
I'll bet you that's 96 now.
Yeah.
Never got changed. Is this where she goes into? No, she's been in the. That's right. She's been in the infirmary.
Yeah. Well, it's
Gaius is in there.
yeah. Gaius is in Colonial 1 with Billy, and they're looking through. He's got a folder on his desk of known Cylon agents, and he sees the picture of Shelley Godfrey, in the folder, and he kind of takes pause and sits down in the chair. He looks over at the number, and Billy said, "Well, that means everything to her. That's what she's about, is that number."
Yep.
Is this when Gaius he's really having to deal with the fact that he's going to be
really
president?
may be president, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy explains to him, "Look, it's a tradition for outgoing president to leave a letter for the successor," and he hands him the letter to read.
Dear Baltar, like dead ass.
Yeah.
And such a nice envelope, and has a nice
presidential
stamp
seal
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this part too, because I feel like we all had Gaius's expression when he was going to be put in charge. I feel like he felt what we all felt. We don't want him to be in charge.
Right.
And just his feeling and his expression, he's feeling what we feel.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh God, you know what? I don't feel that I'm the right person to explain exactly everything that I Script Doctor loves Gaius so much. He really respects this character. He identifies with him.
I do not identify with him.
So
he is the opposite of me in so many ways.
So
he seems like a
Bizarro Script
pal.
Doctor. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a meme. Oh,
yeah, that's a meme. That's got to be a meme. Somebody's got to get that, or we got to clip that at some point. Chat. We got to get a clip of that. That's a great thing by Script Doctor right there. But
I'm taller. I'm in better shape. I'm younger.
But no, right near the end of the segment, Gaius, he's putting the letter in his pocket. He gets a phone call. Billy answers the phone on Cloud 9, hands it to Gaius, and it is, as we find out from the Cylon prisoner from the Pegasus, Gina, who is now aboard the Cloud 9. So Gaius is in process of shuttling over to the Cloud 9. And what's interesting is part of the way when they're showing Gaius on the Raptor, he still kind of in his own way doesn't stop being a scientist. And he's sitting there fiddling with what you can clearly see is a formula on his notepad. So we kind of go from there, and then he's interacting now with Gina, and if anybody wants to take it from there, go right ahead.
So this is when he first sees Gina. He's
And oh my God, let me tell you, when she walks into the room, she is so fracking hot with those glasses. Oh my God, man. I'm sorry. This is one of those moments I will admit as a man, I had a nerd boner.
Sure, objectify a person who just survived and looks like she's recovered quite nicely from such a traumatic experience from months on the Pegasus. Think of
That's
her
what
only as
Gaius
the
was
image
thinking,
that
though.
she presents to be, as opposed to the strong woman that persevered and has started a movement of terrorism within the fleet.
Oh, she recovered quite nicely, let me tell you.
Well, Gaius was definitely interested. So, and this has been after weeks of Angel 6 not being communicating with him, because his reaction to her was like, I haven't seen you in so long. I don't know, it's very
weird.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, he saw Angel 6 earlier. She was very contentious and like holding him by his tie and throwing him around.
Yeah, she sees that she's kind of losing her hold over him.
Yeah, and Gina is like, he can take care of her, and that way I think maybe is the role that he's taken on, I guess, and as far as feeling that way with Angel 6 bossing him around, maybe he feels it responsible for someone and wanting to take care of someone. I don't know.
Yeah, it's because they're different people, and I don't think he's reconciled it yet that she, at this point in the show, Gaius hasn't reconciled it that she's pretty much just a part of a vision that he's seeing in his subconscious in his mind. So he's not equating that yet, and this is when he interacts with Gina. This is a very different woman than from the really sort of domineering woman that is Angel 6, at least to him. So there's definitely that contrast there.
It's got to be so weird too, and he definitely portrays, because this is like the same person. It's the same person, well, different obviously, but it looks like the same one that you've have this relationship with, and that's got to like do something to you or alter your perception of the situation.
Yeah, it's like dating the twin sister of the girlfriend that died a year earlier. You think they're the same, but they're not really.
Yeah, and you kind of like project what your ideal picture.
Well, you don't project the ideals. You project the memories of the other one onto the new.
Yeah.
And what you forget is the fact that they don't share the same memories. There's a point of separation.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, learned that lesson.
Wait a minute. So was that from personal experience script?
No, it's from Buckaroo Banzai.
Right. But I was just wondering. I mean, you seem really familiar with that idea.
Oddly enough, I grew up with a lot of twins, like in my elementary school and secondary school classes, like at least 12 sets. Yeah, it was well, actually, one set was triplets.
What?
But there was a
Isn't
lot
that
of
like
twins.
a rare thing?
It's like, was that a cloning facility?
No, it was just happenstance.
Script
experiments
silent cloning facility. Man, oh crazy.
No, but I go through. I remember this just because a few weeks ago I was going through my old yearbooks with my girlfriend, and she's pointing out like, "Holy crap, there's so many twins in your school," and I was like, "Yeah, there were."
No, man.
Identical twins, or?
Yeah, a lot of identical twins.
Wow.
Some that were like fraternal, but like they looked only 10% different, really. But yeah, a lot of identical twins.
I don't know if that's normal.
I need to step away for just 1 second. So, script doctor, if you can continue.
Yes, continue.
So, well, this scene is really just kind of expository. It's not really much. Gaius understands that Gina is kind of leading this terrorist group, probably using her feminine wiles to do so, to motivate the whole peace initiative. But she's the one that asked him to be here because she wants to try and get some more movement out of what's going on, and he misreads that signal as booty call. But she quickly corrects him into what it's actually about, and well, yeah, it's just kind of a setup, really. There's not much else going on in it that I can recall.
Is he and he feels like he's being used in this situation, I feel. Is that what's happening?
But there's also where he's injured or something. I can't remember.
She bites his lip when he forces a kiss on her because he can't he's having trouble reconciling the corporeal versus the incorporeal, and she is still traumatized by her life on the Pegasus, so she's not ready for something intimate, even though it looks like she's not unwilling. She's just not comfortable.
But that then triggers his idea that there may be something in the blood.
Well, yeah, because the formula that Drew is mentioning for is clearly looks like blood work type of stuff, and I guess the blood he sees on his fingers, he's kind of just linking things together, like Cylon blood and human blood are different. So what are those differences? Which we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but yeah, like we get a little bit of a setup on that, because that's what this scene is. It's just a setup with a little bit. Like the only real conflict resolution is the fact that Gaius thinks he's going there to get laid, and she's like, "Nope, not happening." And yeah,
she wants
like
him to help their movement.
Yeah, she wants to use him to help their movement, and she's appealing to another part of him, and that's very unfamiliar to Gaius, because for the past 189 days, Angel 6 has been doing what he can for very nice there, Steven. Doing what he can to.
This is what you've been doing.
Yeah, he needs some help with Photoshop. Love you, Steven, and he's muted, so who knows what he's saying. But anyway.
Well, for like what, a few minutes? That's not bad.
Yeah.
So but also,
Anyways.
you know, the scene with the six, I guess Gina in this iteration, it does reveal, you know, some damage. This is something we talked about earlier, or I mentioned earlier when we just got started with this, is that this episode reveals some very damaged people too. I mean, she has been, the results of her torture and the damage that she suffered mentally because of that. I mean, as much as these other entities can have that, I mean, it's expressed very well in the fact that she is easily shuns him or shucks off his advances for that very same reason. It's you know, her contact with humanity in that sense has been very negative, and his unwanted advances are you know, beyond painful, in my opinion.
Coach Casino making fun of my cut and paste skills. Look, Mister, I made the intro for the High Council. All right, this is my ability. This is what I can do.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh God!
No.
What did I come back to?
This is some practice.
I'm amazed of like the time you took to do that.
Yeah, that was about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he went to the YouTube page. He copied and pasted my avatar.
Well, Steven, since you're so good with multitasking, here, let's just read the Boxy theory.
Okay, Boxy theory. 1 out of 3. With the onset of general intestinal distress among the colonists due to unnecessarily poor diet, cures were searched for far and wide. Only one of the colonists had studied a book that he had only known cure contained within. Fucking Adega. Boxy knew the health benefits of Walton's brew and spent months demonstrating the proper technique for insertion and flow of the black gold.
Oh God!
Diga, oh my goodness.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Actually, it didn't work on Cylons, and Boxy found himself electrocuted, being elbow deep in Guy's.
Oh Jesus!
I didn't know there was another one. Oh my goodness.
I'm so happy.
Oh dear Lord!
Love you, Adega.
Toxic Man Flu said script crew up next to the Springfield nuclear power plant.
That's so true.
That's so odd. So many twins.
There wasn't a power plant for a very. We were on Niagara Power actually in my area. We didn't have a nuclear power plant. Just a lot of women that I guess had some split ovums.
Oh, wow. Wow. So where did you leave off script?
Well, we were just getting out of Baltair and Gina's scene over on her secret hideaway somewhere.
Okay.
I really liked what Culture was saying before that. Gina's reaction to Baltar's advances, and I think it was And at the time, I didn't realize it, but it was very much in line with Sharon's reaction. This is a very human reaction. So
Yeah.
again, we're seeing these Cylons display human behavior, human instincts. And that is very like a woman recovering from abuse. And again, with Sharon displaying the instincts of a mother. It's just very well done and well executed, just well acted for sure.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, they don't, this isn't a story that forgets what these characters have been through and how they've been, the journey that they've been on. That's something you don't get to see in today's science fiction because they just seem to forget from movie to movie who these people are.
Yeah.
Murder Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how it does, even in this episode where it's kind of like a political intrigue and other deep political issues that you can interpret.
Blonding glasses.
Yeah. Oh man,
Sorry.
I forgot my point. I forgot it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Debbie.
I'm so tired too. My brain, it won't take much. Oh man, I'm sorry, I lost it.
About the intrigue. You're speaking about the intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was hoping that
I
would
lost. I'm sorry. It'll come back to me. I've had a glass of wine too. So.
Yeah, was it the blonde with glasses thing? Did that throw you off?
No, my brain's just tired.
Okay. Just want to know.
Man, I completely lost my.
We're just gonna keep being quiet until you feel so weird about it.
What was I gonna say? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Sometimes this happens to me.
No,
my
it's
brain
fine.
will just stop working.
Stream brain. Stream brain.
What were we talking about before? Okay, never mind. It's lost.
So, yeah, she's a hot blonde, man. Gaius. Oh, okay. So we're on the we're in the room right now. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, and
We're a little past that, right?
well, there were a couple of observations I wanted to make about that whole sequence in there. And Elaine, you alluded to a good one with her human reactions about she couldn't do that right now. Because
now I remember.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your point. The floor is
But
yours.
now I feel like I built up it too much. That it's going to be stupid.
No, go right ahead. Finish your point.
But well, it's just the classic storyline of show, don't tell. And I feel like this episode did it so well, handling these huge or weighty issues and just showing the story, showing us what happens and us just drawing these conclusions. Because, even today, looking at this episode, I view it now differently from when I viewed it the first time because I'm viewing it with a view with whatever is going on right now. So it's so well done that it doesn't just tell you what to think. It doesn't tell you or in your face what to take about the certain issue. It shows you what these characters are feeling. It shows you what these characters are, going through these different situations and these weighty issues and the philosophy of it. And I just applaud that. And I'm sorry, kind of just.
No, hey, that's awesome. Jane, I want to ask you about this because there's an observation I made as the scene goes on, and that is when Baltar, he's obviously, when she had pushed him backwards, he started bleeding and he noticed he was bleeding. But later, like almost at the end of this, at the end of the sequence, he kind of touches his split lip again and sees the blood, and then he looks down at the formulas on his pad, and then he looks up at her and said, "I will not be responsible for the destruction of mankind." It's almost like he's trying to reconcile now with himself. He almost feels like he has another chance. And this time, he's not going to bring about the destruction of what's left of humanity. So he basically, tells her thanks, but no thanks. And I wanted your kind of take on where he sort of notices that, and if you think that I'm onto something here with how he's.
if I could just say one moment, I had like really intense clouds just roll overhead. So if I drop out, so
Okay.
that's thanks, guys. I'm sorry.
No worries, brother. Go ahead.
Actually, I didn't even catch that. So that's an interesting point that he's putting together not only what this child possibly is and the implications of it, but what his role could very well be in this moment. I hadn't thought about it actually.
Because don't forget, he's carrying it over his shoulder that he knows on his conscience that the first time around he was directly responsible for the destruction of humanity.
Oh yeah. Like he's basically coming to terms with he's accepted his responsibility that he's the reason they're in this situation. Now he's like, no, I will not. He's on his redemption arc. He will not let his actions be the end of his species, and nor will he let it be the end of the Cylons either. It also appears.
Yeah.
But then he's also not necessarily. You wonder what his motivation is now, though, and whether he will be led to make a decision that, in fact, does do exactly what he's afraid that he's going to do.
Yeah. That's, Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out next episode, right? But for after this scene, I can't remember what the next one is that follows it. Is that where they go and they grab Sharon and then drug her up, or is that a little later?
I have to look.
So then we go to another flashback, and it's really interesting because we see her and Adar kind of getting into it about the teacher strike, and it's funny because obviously there's some extracurricular something.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Between the two of them. Okay.
Yeah, that was no real surprise.
Yeah, there's definitely an extracurricular something between the two of them, and it then gets really awkward because she tells him that essentially the strike is resolved. They're going back to work. And this goes into what Script Doctor was talking about because, he said, well, what did you give them? And she said,
Oh my goodness.
oh no.
I think yours looks better, Culture. Just a little bit.
Oh no.
No, it's great.
Of course, it looks better. The articulability of a
Script
baboon.
lost his shirt.
Oh no.
I think Script looks good without a shirt. Just,
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's legs like Batman.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. Toxic Man Flu said Steven's the thought killer. Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right. Enough hijinks.
Toxic has another box theory, but yeah.
Oh, Foxy theory.
All right. All right, Culture, you get to read this one.
Okay, where are we at?
All right. Boxy Theory, number 7 of 9. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Boxy Theory, 7 of 9. Boxy spends the afternoon with Viper mechanic Jane, who theorizes that adding Waltons to the fuel mix will clean out the clogged exhaust pipes of the fleet.
Wow. Boy, they are welcoming
That's a good
you.
one.
They are welcoming you right in, Jane. Adanga said the brew is the cure for all that is wrong in the universe.
It is true. It
I
is
think
true.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to laugh.
We're working on more marketing tools. Dollified's hard at work. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, all those little guinea pigs are just constantly working. I took a week off because I was just exhausted with the on the marketing side. The R&D guys are doing a great job, but they're wearing me out.
The guinea pigs are ever busy. They're busier than Santa's elves, boy.
Cookies.
I don't think you understand the marketing that's already been done here for you, Stephen. You could actually start your own coffee brew brand
You
on
should.
Amazon right now.
Yeah.
And odds are they'll probably just drink it as opposed to doing what you advertise. But you'll at least make some money.
Yep.
In the latest commercial that was done, a combination of myself and one of the most powerful YouTubers out there right now, Lorena Creel. She got a chance to air that commercial.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to an amazing creator and a beautiful voice actor.
Ooh.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody. You see what you
We're
started,
working on it.
You see what you started.
Jane
And nobody's
is
talking about Jane, and she's the one that started
Jane is
all.
hey, don't you pick on Jane.
I'm not picking on Jane.
Martha just mentioned it.
You don't
Just
see
mentioned
what's
her.
happening, Drew. These women are nasty. They're conniving. This is not. I do not think about coffee enemas. That's disgusting.
Better.
We do not kneel, but we might squat after some brew.
Better they take a run at you than me, dude. I'm glad.
I am the victim here.
Oh my goodness! Yes, it is. It's me. It's dirty work, but it's cleansing.
All right. So yeah, basically, Roslyn's explaining though that she said that they'd have the opportunity to air their grievances with the president, and Adar is obviously not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is right after he kissed her and grabbed her butt at the door, and he's like pretty incensed actually at this. He's like, you realize what you've done. You put me in an awkward position. Next strike could be God knows whatever, and then it's even worse. And then he said, and then he gives her the whole, well, I'd still, we still need your ideas. You could stay on in an advisory capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
Well, and she identifies and recognizes at this point in time that he had a larger motivation here, and it was to actually break the teachers union and to exploit their violence in his favor.
Right.
And that a peaceful resolution was not in the cards as far as he was concerned. So she got to see how that game was played, and of course, he's a dude. He's gonna try to play to the bone. Even the romantic stuff that we were just talking about. I mean, that's just the nature of the guy.
Can we just take a moment of silence for that phrasing? Play to the bone. Well,
what did you want me to say?
Beautiful.
Right,
Yeah,
she is beautiful, and well, he shouldn't have been sleeping with somebody in his cabinet in the first place. I think that's a no-no.
No.
But
I don't think.
Well, I think she knew what she
rules.
was doing too, though.
Yeah, they're adult people.
She wouldn't have done it.
Two to tango.
Yeah.
I wasn't blaming
He
anybody.
expected her to fail.
Look, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, he expected her to fail. And she's like, she got the job done.
Yep.
Well, there's many different ways you can interpret that. He thought he was sleeping with her, and so he had her in his corner no matter what. And he also thought that he was more intelligent than this woman, and she showed him up. It also shows that her care was for the people. She was being a public servant in the position of being, of that, and he wasn't. He was trying to.
Balls. Dollified. Nothing. Dollified's like balls.
Yeah.
Right. That sums everything I was about to say. Just got summed up by Dollified.
I know. Boom. Answer.
One word.
Done.
I was trying to be talky.
All right. Toxic man flu, Boxy theory, #4th weight. Boxy turns to the fleet historian, author Stephen Salton, he says.
What?
Did Script Doctor get his Batman-esque legs from all the squats caused by your coffee?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink coffee, but I definitely do squats.
No, man.
I don't think they're talking about drinking it, though.
Deja says, yes, toxic for the win.
Like,
Oh, man. Great stuff. Wow. Wow.
Batman
You're
legs.
on fire with
This
Boxy theories tonight, chat. Holy
It's just
hell.
a challenge to stay on topic.
It is. My goodness. My goodness.
That's part of the fun.
It is. It is.
The best part of waking up.
So we go to the very melancholy scene of Admiral Adama getting on the loudspeaker, and he basically lets everyone on the ship know that the prognosis for President Roslyn is very grim, and he says if you believe in the power of power of prayer, if I could say that 3 times fast, he said now's the time. And he said, for those of you that don't, please join me in keeping our president in our thoughts. And I thought that was a really good, heartfelt scene, very melancholy, but very heartfelt at the same time. And just another reason why this show shines. And then, of course, we cut to Sharon. She's been sedated. It was a hell of a little kind of slow-mo cam scene of them going into her brig and everything else to get her out, and she was fighting all the way because she thinks they're coming in there to take her and board her kid.
Yeah.
But
Which they are.
Which essentially they are. But as they come down the corridor, Hilo stops them at the door to the infirmary, and essentially, Hilo is ready to have his last stand. He's got his hand on his gun holster.
Hilo,
And
that moment would rip
yeah.
off your head and shit down your neck.
And Hilo's begging and pleading, at least can I take a Raptor? Can I get her off the ship? And
I murder every asshole in here that's about to do damage to my baby.
What?
Yeah, I was just ready to just take her and leave. Whatever.
Right.
What happens is Admiral Adama is stopped by Baltar, who is hurriedly trying to get his attention, and then he shows Adama that there indeed is some similarities in the stem cells that could help.
The odd stuff.
In the blood cells, not stem cells, blood cells.
Blood cells, excuse me. Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that whole sequence?
Hilo shine in that moment. He did exactly what a dad should do. No, you are not killing my child. You're not doing harm to the mother of my baby. I will kill every dude in this hallway to permit. I will not let that happen. Love that scene. That's all's up.
Yeah.
It
It was great. Now I also like the fact that Adama went ahead and was going to be the first one to face the consequences if that was going to be the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did appreciate that because it's a personal matter. He understands it, but he's being very dispassionate. He's being military. He's making a military decision. He's also kind of trying to grant the last wish of Laura, who he's been on this journey with for the last several months, and they just went through, they went through that split between the fleet, and they went through having to face Admiral Karen. They've dealt with a lot trying to save the human race. So her last order, her last request, her last thing that she wants to execute, pardon the pun, that he's going to do. He's going to fill that out in honor of her and the journey they've gone on, and because of how much he trusts that character. So I understand that position from him, but it's an unjust one, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So Hilo is being a hero at this moment, and if he had to die, then he would have died a hero.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, it's this confrontation though, and in the way it's diffused. I mean, again, this show does that at every point. You feel the tension that there's it's an ebb and a flow. It's like a wave that's coming into shore and then breaks and recedes, and it's a piece of music. It's a symphony. The emotional, you are captivated emotionally. Almost every episode, but it gives the audience a break, and that's one of the things I know Script has talked about before. Is you have these big buildups, and then it pulls back and lets it breathe and gives you an opportunity to recover before it foists it upon you again. So it's but this scene was a very abbreviated way of doing that, but it was very, very well done. And in that having Baltar be the one that stops it was interesting, and I know that's Script's favorite character, so I'll let Script talk more about that.
No, I mean it's the first humane action he's really done that has more than just one meaning. I mean, there's a little bit of selfishness to it. He's getting to keep the child alive. He's also getting to avoid the responsibility of being the political leader of the fleet. But at the same time, he's saving a colleague and his and this Cylon hybrid child. It's a win-win for him, especially if he pulls it off. And the following scene where he actually explains how the whole thing works, like how he took a sample of the blood and put it in with the same cancer cells, and then within moments the cancer cells were just gone. Shows that it's not just a normal blood system, but it's of immunities, but also attacks and destroys things that are incompatible. It's a more perfect system because it's a blood without a type. It's just it's like neutral blood or something. I don't know.
The science that he explains is very, very good because my brother who deals in genetics was like, that's a pretty decent scientific explanation for some nonsense. He's like, but he was impressed. Essentially, so it was pretty cool. I mean, and this. I really enjoyed the explanation that he gave, but at the same time, its plausibility is what made it sell to the audience. So.
I know fuck all about cellular biology, so it sounded like gobbledygook to me. But I was like, all right.
Well, it was pretty basic. If you have an artificial being that has simulated blood but no type, and it mixes with human blood that has a type, it's going to adopt those properties, but also retain what's superior. So a blood type that can be affected by cancer would be considered a vulnerability, and then the new blood would just be like, okay, bye-bye, and kill it. And that's exactly what happened here. It was basically like a vaccine to cancer, pretty much.
It was like super blood.
They're resistant to disease.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't require antigens. That was the whole explanation.
The whole idea, because it itself is an antigen, pretty much. That's what the blood is. It's its own antigen. Yeah,
exactly. Anyway, sorry.
The needles was hard to watch, though. I don't like needles.
That's right. Oh, Christian.
No.
I had to look away.
Nerd cookie. So far, I count needles. Do I remember spiders? What else are the things?
I didn't actually. You know what, Elaine? I can tell you. Personal experience really quickly here, guys. When I was in about the first week of this nonsense with my back and everything, I remember the first night when the pain got really bad and I had to drive myself to the emergency room, and they took a needle about that big, and welcome to the chat, Bone. They took a needle about that big, and I got one of the shots I got was into into like my shoulder area almost was one of them, and it had a needle that big. So, yeah, that was not very.
What did they inject you with?
That was one of the anti-inflammatories. Or I'm
They don't need a
sorry.
needle that big for an anti-inflammatory.
Look, I'm sorry. If it's food or water, that's one thing. But the thought of anything penetrating my body is a no-no. I
Yeah.
don't care what it is.
So that's
How do you do the anima thing then, Steven?
Nothing penetrates my body but food and water. That is it. Anything
How does
else?
food penetrate? You ingest that. That's way different than
Just
penetration.
anything that
Oh,
goes beyond the skin,
Like a
my physical
like-
aura of my being, that is not food or water, is no. I don't
So
care.
you've never gotten a shot?
Like a straw?
I don't want to though, Jane. I don't.
Well,
That's fine. Booster
Yeah.
shots are helpful.
no, the
No.
needle in this scene was big. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
I
Not
never
like flu
said
shots
go
or something.
up.
Earth, too.
I said around like a
like
elevator
applying a
button.
salve.
It's disgusting.
Can't do it. Yeah, I don't like needles.
I mean, either.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I got used to them.
Well, I guess so. Batman legs. Nothing really hurts you. I'm just imagine.
I didn't say they don't hurt. I just said I got used to them. Like,
Well, that made me hurt. Oh, just-
Well, Adega's making some very solid points. So you don't use Q-tips, toothbrushes,
I use a toothbrush. That's different. That's different.
self
yeah,
penetration.
that's different. How do we get the needles to this? I don't know.
No.
It all comes back to the animus.
You did this, Jane, and you too, Nerd Cookies. But you facilitated Nerd Cookies.
What? No.
Facilitated. That's a big word, Steven.
It's a $50 word, Coco.
It is.
No needles.
Like
No,
these jokes though.
no, I don't know. I don't want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Imagine like, just you're going into the womb and you're taking blood out of a freaking out of a fetus. Like that's that was just.
Well, it's just a kind of a. No, it's more like I would imagine it's more like an amniocentesis process would be my
Yeah.
guess.
It's
So
the
is
blood
it
that's
the
around the
amniotic
baby.
fluid?
It's the same blood, but it's the blood around the baby.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
good.
Okay,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that would be my guess. But again, I didn't write the show, so I
I
don't.
don't damn really anything.
Because I can't remember how far along she is, but she only had a little
She
baby.
looks 4 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
4
least.
months. But I would think the baby's really tiny.
Yeah, that baby saved Rosalind's ass though.
Boxing theory.
Another pun.
Why? Drew, don't break your neck again. Did somebody come over? Can you wait till the stream's over? Beware the Drew, everyone. Beware
There's
the Drew.
no mention of coffee.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I guess
Well,
he takes the blood sample and he gives it to Rosalind.
Yes.
No trials. Just inject her with it.
Oh, right. And then
Well, they did the test already with her cells. They
And then
did do the
Oh
test
yeah.
already
Okay. Yeah.
with her cells. Yeah,
she starts
But
but
convulsing.
it's
didn't
still
like it.
dangerous because
Either way.
cells is
Yeah.
not the
Which
same
is-
as a human organism.
She's
Adam was
dying
like,
anyway, so I mean, why not?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get it. Oh, no, I totally get that. Like, I'm cool with. I didn't understand what it was about the blood, what was trying to be discussed in the show. It went too fast, and I'm glad you guys gave me better insight on that. But and I don't mind them. She's about to die anyway, so right.
That
If
was
it's
a
light,
huge needle.
that's a big ass needle, though. I mean, think about that needle too. That needle had better take me out on a date, 2 dates at least. Buy me dinner.
Yeah, it's about an 8-inch
Okay, so
syringe.
so it's not that you're against penetration; it's that you want a couple meals ahead of time.
That's what I'm saying. It was big, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said you take me on a couple of. Yeah, I was just trying to measure your. Just trying to find the boundaries, the
We're
borders.
not twisting this conversation. We're not doing it. We're not doing it today. She did the convulsions scared the living hell out of me when she went.
Yeah.
That's It was a pretty cool scene, and I forget how it rounded out.
Well, she stabilizes pretty quick, and then
very quickly. Yeah.
And
it's
then we
miraculous.
do a time jump. We do a 48-hour time jump.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Strip.
And Coddle's looking at the scans. He's like, "There's no cancer. She's still weak, but I don't know what the hell. There's just no cancer."
You got to say it right. Explain it. I don't know why.
Yeah. And President first action is, I want to see the terrorist prisoner.
Yep.
She goes right back, guys.
And so they see him, and she tells him, like, she essentially solves it almost the same way that she solved the teacher conundrum with telling him if there's no more violence, then there won't be any more trouble.
Right.
And what happens is we cut to Angel 6 explaining to Baltar that he's adult for saving her and not assuming the presidency. And then, he essentially says, he did it because, what else could he have done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then, he's interested in what the contents of the letter said.
Angel 6 was.
Yeah, she was interested. So he read it, and
it said, "Dear Gaius, eat my dead ass."
It was essentially a nice way. It was like basically saying, you're cordially invited to go fuck yourself.
That's okay. So let's characterize it as in, please think more about the population in general rather than your own personal motives.
No,
which he was kind of doing already on his own at this point.
At that point, yeah, exactly. So it was incredibly insulting to him, obviously, after what had just occurred. But of course, the context of that letter was not written in a way at a time when she would have known all of the things that were about to transpire. So,
and he knows what he is. I mean, to be.
You think so?
I think so.
No, I think people of that level of intellect and that level of involvement, I think they lack self-awareness. I think that's. I mean, we're seeing that now in the real world. And hello, Stieg Kenobi.
Yeah. Hey, Stieg.
Hey, Stieg.
Welcome, man.
Did we already? I had to step back for a second, but did we already talk about that Rosalind saw throughout her flashbacks? She saw Gaius with.
Yes.
Yeah.
With 6.
Yeah. We
and she was looking at him during her seizure.
A blonde woman.
Yeah, we hit that.
You did okay.
I also kind of hit
back
on one other point, if I could backtrack, because I hadn't had a chance to mention it because I was making memes. But the vision she was having, the near-death visions, it's believed in many cultures when you're at that point just before death that your soul is being freed, that you can get more of a glimpse of the universe or the future. And I think that that connection to God, I think that maybe there was like a divine influence there that was not only having her relive these memories, but also teaching her lessons for the future, giving her warnings for the future. A lot of the things in this series run in tandem, especially they have like a hint of divinity to them. So I think that was a large part of why she was having those memories at that time when she was, dying of cancer. And so yeah, I think that also plays into the scene, but it's going to play into the future because she did see Gaius with Caprica 6, and who knows when that memory is going to surface again.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought that was sorry.
No, please, Nerd Cookies, please, Elaine, go.
Oh, I was just saying. I just thought it was an interesting thing because during that time she probably just looked at it. I mean, you wouldn't focus on something, so it was like a subconscious thing that she was looking at, and now in this form or in this state she could really focus on, that's Gaius, but during that time I wouldn't think so. Yeah, that's all.
And it also could have been that in her final moments, her final hours, she was reliving the last memories of being home, like that where she'd been most of her life, Caprica, and those were her last memories because she announces that she's going to the Galactica on some kind of a trip, and then she was going to return, and the president would. The president
was going to remove her from office. Actually,
she'd fight for it.
If everything happened maybe a few hours later, she would no longer be the president of the colonies. It might be someone else.
Yeah,
And I kind of saw.
Now, please go.
No, I was just gonna say I kind of saw it as, in this moment she has her concerns about Baltar anyway, and we see that expressed through the last letter that she leaves for him. We see that through her initial action of basically aborting this child, a decision that she wasn't trusting him to make or didn't want to leave that decision to him. And I think that what her mind was flashing through were things that maybe in the back of her mind had caused her some concern about him. So it's like her fear of what he's going to do in this position is what's triggering these memories and these flashes and these images.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And again, I mean, the science behind all of that is that the dimethyltryptamine, courses through your brain, causing you to have the near-death hallucinations that you have when you're expiring. So those types of experiences cannot be relied upon because it's your brain using a powerful hallucinogen to tell you to chill out. So, but it does create a certain amount of suspicion within her long term, which we'll find out in the future episodes. But
I mean,
go ahead.
That's a great point to bring up because it has been hallucinogens for as long as man has had access to them that mystics have used to have visions or premonitions about the future to your divine inspirations. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, it's just that's the near-death chemical that happens in your brain. It's similar to LSD, but it's but it does give you some insight or some it gives you an access to a different thought processing.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So, but regardless, I mean, I'm concerned with her, and only in this episode, I should say, because she, as I think Script and others have mentioned, she should not have ever been the president because her job was essentially over. After the decommissioning of the Galactica, she was no longer going to be a member of the cabinet, which meant that there would have been no diplomatic head anywhere along the line. Many of the events that occurred along the way, we may have been seeing a military reaction forever and ever out of Adama. Right. So it was only that small, thing that tiny decision to let her go and do this decommissioning ceremony before requiring her to resign. Or whatever that was going to be. So I thought that was a great point, and I thought I'd elaborate a little more on it. But it concerns me that she doesn't see the growth in other people, even though she wouldn't have been in the position that she was without some level of growth as well. But anyway,
well, yeah, because that's one of her weaknesses because it's extremely, insightful as she can be, she's very short-sighted when it comes to people at a lot of times. So, that's one of her many faults, if you want to point out faults.
Except for Billy.
About her.
She loves
yeah. But no, to basically kind of wrap it up because we're closing in nearly on the 2-hour mark. We cut to another scene after Roslyn visits the prisoner, and you just see a nice little silent cut between her and Sharon, and she's kind of looks through the glass at Sharon while she's down by Sharon's holding cell, and then there was a thing, don't forget, where the closing of the conversation between Angel 6 and Baltar, where she reminds him that things are pretty much life and death when it comes to the Cylons and the humans, Baltar then we find out we see him standing in the hangar deck as he's watching the Raptor disembark that has that guy that was formerly a prisoner on it, the potato soy man, and he takes the Raptor back to Cloud9 and he has a case with him, and at some point we see when Gina opens the case that it is a nuclear warhead, which obviously Baltar had stuck in the case instead of whatever it was that Roslyn was sending. So yeah, I found that quite interesting because that was a hell of a cliffhanger to end on. I remember just the end of this episode when I saw it and it first aired. I was just like, "Holy shit! What?" When she opened that thing. So
just gave your enemy the ultimate weapon.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bad day for everybody on that ship.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I was very confused too because, he seemed very offended by the fact that Roslyn didn't trust him. Her letter wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't.
She had legitimate concerns.
Yeah.
And
character
wanted
issues.
him to address that about himself. I mean, you should be honest with yourself about your faults. You're going to be the leader of these people. So that's a good thing to be honest with yourself about it. And his response to that, she's never going to trust me. I'll go ahead and give this nuclear warhead to the silent sympathizers. Like, okay.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you took that, her response to you, perfectly reasonable response, and just, I don't know.
Well, see, Toxic explained the warhead.
It's a what?
Yeah, he said, that's no nuclear warhead. That's Drew with a massive stiffy. And I'm just looking through some of the comments here. Damn you, let the rabbits wear glasses. Oh, gosh.
Guys, it's just like he's at war within himself all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's such a diverse character in that way.
But think about it. He has the devil and an angel on his shoulder at all times. And we find out also that Caprica 6 has the same problem. There's a devil and an angel on her shoulder at all times too. So they're both at odds with them, their own.
But this was
their own perception, their own self-perception.
Such an extreme, though. I mean, I understand there are people who take the position: if you think I'm a thing, then I'll just become that thing. Right. She didn't think it was a terrorist.
Yeah.
I mean, he just leaped all the way to. I mean, that was a very quick escalation.
Yeah.
But it fits with his character so well.
It was a convoluted regressive act here. He acted this way because the story needed it to more so, as opposed to something that felt organic, because this entire episode put him on the path where he was doing what the letter was telling him to do even before he read it.
Right.
And they try to use Angel 6 to facilitate that it's insulting when it's really more of an encouragement. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard for a person of intelligence to not grasp that. So it did feel a bit more like manipulation. And we are kind of getting, I guess, in the end of this particular season, where things are going to get a little bit more complicated on the plot side of things as opposed to the character side of things. So I mean, they are kind of tripping a little bit. So be wary of that, folks, as you're watching along with us.
I thought it was interesting too, because he obviously had reservations about being in charge, being the leader, and that's what drove a lot of his actions in this episode. Yet when someone else recognized that about himself, he couldn't handle it. He just took offense to it.
Yeah, and hey, welcome Nina Infinity. I see you in the
Nina.
Yeah.
All troublemakers in one house.
And
good night, Lady Mist.
Take care, Lady Mist.
Have a good night, Lady Mist.
Hey, Lady Mist.
Good night.
Lady Miss is such a sweetheart. She's always like every stream so supportive. She's always in here.
She's so sweet, yeah.
We're talking about Battlestar Galactica, Nina. This is our Thursday retro review of Ron Morris BSG, and
they've been picking on me all night long, Nina.
What?
You should have been here earlier, Nina.
Yes.
Jane's voice. My God.
Here we go.
we
You love you, Steven. What are you talking about?
Yeah. If we didn't all love you, dude, we would not give you a hell of a time like we do.
I know that. And if I didn't love Script Doctor like I did, I wouldn't have made Pantless Script Doctor.
Pants.
You need to put Script Doctor over his pants.
Shirtless Script Doctor is impressive. I just want to say.
I'm a few months away from getting those abs to be real. That's for sure.
Dude, Sharpie.
Get script
Sharpie.
That's the hashtag. Get script ripped.
Get script ripped.
There we go.
This is awesome.
Nina, we found out that Script Doctor has Batman legs tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the real takeaway from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got very well developed legs. Everybody thinks that Jay, Drunk 3PO, has some great calves. He definitely does. Mine are definitely something to give.
Oh, I saw them in person, Script. So I can't say anything till I've seen yours in person. So
that's
then
fair.
we can talk.
I'm fine with that.
Fair enough.
Wookiee Ascendancy said something that I agree with. The Vipers were cool, but nothing makes up for not including some kind of robot dog.
Like
100% accurate. No, the original series had a cool robot dog.
It did?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I haven't
Daggett.
seen the original series.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you're
But
missing out.
Dr. Who had a robot dog? Did they rip it off from that?
Oh man.
Don't know. Although here's the thing: anytime we talk about Glenn Larson,
the Daggett in the old one was, I think, the first. I don't think
It's not like K9 in Doctor Who. It's a bit more costumey, like on a person.
I have got to see the original.
It was like a barrel with legs.
of course, I'm a huge Buck Rogers fan. So I mean the show, and yeah. So someday we need to do that.
Maybe we should do that one day. We need to go through all the classic Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica classic.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
I still want to have a debate panel where I get TOS fans.
Oh, Mando's here. Hey, Mando.
Yeah,
in the shadows.
I want to definitely get a debate panel with some original series Galactica fans versus the this universe Galactica fans, and let them go at it. So I definitely want to do that soon.
Hey, I will bring out all of my original stuff. In fact, I will finish the 3D print of my full Centurion suit from the original series. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice. There you go. That would be awesome, dude. But Nina says when Gaius was doing it with Caprica, it was funny. She
Dude, it was hot.
I did have some questions.
Go ahead, go.
Wait, the time where it's really just him alone on the ship, or the time on Caprica where
Caprica and her spine lights up red, like all like Cylon old Centurion like lights. I was like, dang, Knight Rider is in her back right now. It's freaking great.
Like the best one was Hilo and Sharon on Cylon occupied Caprica when they were getting it on, and her spine lit up red, and I'm like, oh my god, if there's one thing I want in life, I want a girlfriend whose spine lights up red during sex. That would be
basically you want an artificial girlfriend.
Well, it's not going to happen.
That's not out there. You mean
that's not where they're going to get red. Okay?
I mean, it wouldn't be a human.
Yeah.
Well,
especially
did they explain why that happens?
I don't think so.
They did.
Oh,
no.
Does that raise
Like
the
you
question?
can make a woman blush pretty red, but I don't think you're gonna get that spine glow.
Oh, Nina,
Yeah.
we did that episode. Oh God, quite a few episodes ago, but I know which one you were talking about.
That's how to get pregnant. Does that mean both her was blanks?
I was just thinking about that during this episode where he was talking with Angel 6 in the corridor and she grabbed his tie.
Right.
He's talking with nobody and everyone's just walking past him like nothing, like, this is normal behavior.
They all think he's freaking crazy. Everybody thinks anybody with an intellect. This is the thing. This is the only, I guess, not quite a trope, but it's one of those things where if you have a superior intellect, they expect you to be a total nut bar. So, you know,
are they just blinders on? Like, whatever, I'm going to my.
am I
and he's grabbing his tie.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Well, I like how he's going at it. Okay, now this might have been a couple episodes ago, but he's going at it at his like workstation for the Cylon detector, and Starbuck walks in, and I'm going,
Yep.
yeah, and I'm going, how did that not start something? Because nowadays that would be like he would be like canceled. That would have been like his canceled moment, right?
Yeah,
right
that's what that's the moment that Nina was alluding to.
And,
Yep, Nina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we went over that. Nina.
I just wonder, like, what his perception is, what we see is what other people see. I've always wondered about that.
Yeah,
we've seen it.
Those videos.
We've seen some of that though, where it like shows him like in a compromising position of some sort with nothing there.
He's like choking himself with his tie, even in this corridor. But there's tons of people walking by. They're like, "Yeah, that's normal."
Well,
sure.
Even in a couple of scenes in this one, like there's one scene, and it might have been what you're talking about, Elaine, where he's pulling on his tie, and like there's an officer that's standing there that looks over at him with this look on her face, like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" You know, and it's,
same as always, walking through the halls.
Yeah,
see Gaius down there.
Right.
Yeah, get himself.
It's so well done, though. Like we could speculate about it. We could think that are people seeing what we're seeing? Are people seeing like what is he seeing in his head right now? And I love the fact that we can speculate about that because we don't know for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That is true. We don't know how much of it is actually happening.
But I would say honestly, looking back at this episode, I thought this episode was well done. It wasn't my most favorite, but it wasn't my least favorite either. I was in the realm of giving it about a 7. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I will kind of let you guys go around the horn here and give it a rate, and then if you want, you can shout out your channels and go from there. So we'll start with Elaine.
Well, I think a 7 would be really good. This is such an interesting episode because we came off like this kind of 2 or 3-parter episodes of the Pegasus entering, and it was just such a major storyline. And then now we come to this episode where there's not so much of a conflict or so much drama or tension. It kind of is more quiet. It's kind of more philosophical. And again, I think that's at the heart of science fiction. I really like when shows take the time to do this, when they take the time for character development, and there was so much character development in this particular episode. So I really think it's up there. There wasn't a lot of action, but it really made up for it in character development. And I think it was really well done. And it really, especially with Roslyn and Sharon, and I really think it pushed us forward. Like it had an intent, and I think that's at the heart of science fiction. We have those moments of like shoot 'em ups. We have those moments of tension, but it's these quiet moments. It's these moments that make us think and debate that are the most important. So I really enjoyed this episode, and how we came off of those previous episodes into this one was really well done. Especially with Roslyn. She's just amazing, and we got to really see a different side of her before Galactica, before all these events. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, you can find me at Nerd Cookies. I do sci-fi and fantasy news and lore, more with a focus on upcoming projects like Dune and Amazon's Lord of the Rings. So if you're interested in that, come check me out. I'm also on Twitter. So yeah, come follow me. Stay nerdy, everyone. Thanks, everyone. You guys are awesome.
Yay.
All right, Jane Theory.
Hey guys. I would probably put this episode at an 8.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the performances, which is typical for the show, but I think they really it was so hyper emotional that I really enjoyed it more. And I think this particular episode and the show as a whole, always asks these really complex questions about humanity and morality and just what it means to be human. And I think we saw that explored here, even more so with the unborn child and the implications for the future of both races. Um, you can find me here on YouTube, where I post weekly movie and television reviews every Sunday at 6 Central, as well as some occasional pop culture news and commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jane Theory.
All right, Culture Casino.
Well, this is weird. The ratings are going to keep getting higher. I gave it an 8.5. There were some complex things that were dealt with. Jane just mentioned one with the forced abortion and stuff like that. Your body's not yours; it belongs to the state. Kind of a thought process. That's at the heart of a lot of fascist Marxist ideologies, stuff like that. So it was an interesting thing there. The performances were incredible in this, and like Elaine said, I think that we had a bunch of episodes leading into this that were a lot more physically interactive as far as the
Very
the
action
explosions, actions and all of that, whereas this was more cerebral and emotional. And I think that they did a really good job with that. The things that really were key to me, or key elements for me, was the complete lack of faith that Roslyn displayed in Gaius just by the contents of the letter. As I mentioned before, there's no way she would know that he would act in a selfless manner, throughout the entire episode. So it was exactly counter to what her concerns were. But in all ways, this was, I think this episode was not just well written, but well acted. And like I said, I think it was that perfect ebb and flow I talked about earlier, where you have a rise in the emotional level, and then it pulls back, and then a rise. You were engaged throughout this entire episode. There's no points of boredom or anything like that along the way. So 8.5 for me.
Nice.
And I do have a YouTube channel. You might Culture Casino. I'm on Twitter also, where I offend people all the time. And come and hang out if you want. I really appreciate everybody in our community. I think you guys are all great, and I appreciate your support. So thank you.
And now you can also catch Culture Casino, Nerd Cookies, and Jane Theory every Thursday, because they are going to be permanent. They are already good parts of the panel, but really good fixtures in here going forward. So you can catch them here every Thursday with us. So all right, author Stephen Walton.
First off, I'd like to give a moment of silence for Admiral Karen. She was short-lived. She came through. She was a terrible person, and then she got murked. So thank you, Admiral Karen. We appreciate you. Also, please subscribe to my torso. My torso needs more subs. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I love this. I love this episode. Like I said earlier, when we first came in, it caused a lot of emotions within me as a parent. Having to see what Sharon was going through, what Hilo went through. Also, really a lot of all the points that I liked or that I was going to say have been already brought up by this wonderful panel. But yeah, I give this episode an 8. Not enough Candace. You know, I would have given it more, but not enough Candace McClure. Love my Anastasia. Wonderful acting in this episode. I really enjoyed it. You know, we only get to see Kat a little bit in there, but you know, she's just a fun character to watch because she's just like she's like a little terrier. She just won't leave you alone, and I enjoy her character a lot. Gaius is nuts. Script Doctor's favorite character. You know, Ty being Ty, getting talked down to by Apollo, which is funny. Like, well, you shouldn't have reinstated me as Kagan. I don't give the hell what you think. Like, that's right. You tell that angry cuck. Altogether, well written, well produced, well acted. You know, just again, really, really good. I mean, they even got the Soy Boy terrorist right. I ain't mad. So yeah, I give this episode an 8. You can find me on author Stephen Walton, and please subscribe to every person on this panel. If you know, if you're gonna just give anybody a shot, give it to one of these guys. Great people, great channels, very dedicated. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. We wouldn't be doing this without you, and you know, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ed Shellback says, at Supreme Heretic, every time I hear Jane say, "Hey guys," I get a little tingle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ring gets you a little tingly.
That was a good impression.
Yeah, but see, the thing is I understand where that comes from with Shell, because you know it's like, "Hey guys," and you're like, "Aw."
Yeah, I think it's adorable. Like every time she says it, I just want to give her a hug.
If I got the audiobook for the Phantom Menace volume, whatever, like people would they wouldn't even hear the words.
Yeah.
They
so
just
that's actually how they did Muffet in the original show. They had
Muffet the Daggett.
They had a monkey playing the robotic dog.
What?
Yeah.
That is.
On it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just saw that. In my...
Yeah, the head's off to the side there, and that is courtesy of our friend Parrot Head.
Yep.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just have a dog playing a robotic dog?
Well, it doesn't work. And
they killed the dog in the pilot.
It's not a dog within a dog within a dog.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
I just assumed it'd be like a mouse droid or something.
Yeah.
Well, this is 78, 79.
Everybody monkeys in the
Well, what's easier to do? Like pull a mechanical box looking thing than train a monkey?
The monkey's already trained. When you put a mask on it, it's not going to spit or eat the face off of the actor, so you're good.
Right.
I'm sorry, like chimps scare me.
Yeah,
they should.
Chimps had big parts in movies and TV in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yes. So there was a supply of them.
I would not be within. I could not touch it with a 10-foot pole. No.
I am throwing you in a cage with a
needles and chimps. No.
All right. So you'd be terrified of like a giant chimp spider where its legs were needles, right?
Oh gosh, that sounds horrible.
Oh Jesus! Or Mark,
it's a horror movie.
Mark 63366 says, "So it was a donkey."
Yes.
All right.
That's creepy.
All right. Script Doctor, take us home.
Well, this was an enjoyable episode. It sets up a brand new story arc, which is now division among the fleet. We've got a whole new adventure ahead of us with what's going on. So I think it's a pretty good show. Please subscribe to everybody else on the panel here. Show your support. They're making some great content. Obviously, author Stephen Walton has crossed over the 1,000 sub milestone, so he's now able to earn some money on his videos. Finally, Culture Casino's got some great content now that he's back from vacation. Jane Theory, always amazing with her stuff that she releases. Usually Sundays, at least that's when I see my alerts for your stuff. And Lane's Nerd Cookies. Coverage on the Dune and Lord of the Rings stuff is fantastic. And Drew, check out Drew here on this channel and also over at Bounding Into Comics where he does his gaming articles. You should be getting back into the swing of things pretty soon, right? After all this physical therapy you're going through?
Yeah, I am. And, I may not be as fancy as Steven. I'm not monetized, but if anybody wants to help out, that PayPal link I threw in the chat, it goes and helps. Not only some of the medical issues that I'm facing, but more importantly, the ones my mom's facing. So if anybody wants to help out, you can help out at that link. And, donations are always appreciated, never required. I am very happy for everybody that hung out with us today. And
Drew, can I say one more thing before you close out? If that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. First off, my torso doesn't plug himself, so you have to subscribe to my torso. Please do that. He'll say vote everybody else but himself. He's a great torso, but he doesn't think of himself. He's always down here with me. Thank you. Also, the announcement for the audiobook for the Fandom Menace Volume 1, the files were approved, and so I should be I'm working with Tom and Rob to do a show. Don't know if it's going to be on Midnight's Edge After Dark or Midnight's Edge. I'm sure Script Doctor will be around if he's available. So we're gonna have a celebration for that. Give out the links for the new audiobook and give out a few free ones. So hope you have the time to join us. I think it'll be tomorrow night sometime. Just stay tuned to Twitter or YouTube for details. Thanks, guys.
And also, make sure that you subscribe to Script Doctor and everyone on the panel, because they all have awesome channels and they all bring great observations and great content to the table, and they're dear friends, and you can't ask for better than that. So next week, when you guys come back next Thursday, we are going to have episode 14 of season 2, and that is actually a really interesting episode. We're going to get a lot of story about Apollo, so you're going to see a lot of Lee in that episode. It's called Black Market. So I'm excited to do that. I kind of like that episode, and for any of you ladies still lurking about the chat, anybody that's fan of Jamie Bammer, there you go. You can drool over Apollo next week. So there you have it.
Nice.
So until next week, remember, take care of yourselves and each other, and have fun. Be safe. So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.